How's it going, Top Forest TV? My name is Jack, and welcome to my review of Nottingham Forest 1, Burnley 1, that has just finished at the City Ground. First of all, I just saw about my trim, just got out of the shower, so it's a bit of a mess, but we move. I don't know, you look at it on paper and you say a point to Burnley at home is probably not ideal. I think we look at a game like Burnley at home and you're kind of in this position where we are at the minute. You look at that and you think, that's all 3 points. You know, that's a game where we should be winning. But, you know, the point, would I say it's a fair result? I don't know. I feel like both sides have stake a claim that they could have won it. I mean, Burnley had the ball in the back of the net twice. Once was ruled out for a handball, which I think was a handball. You know, you look on Twitter and there's a lot of people saying, I don't know if that was a handball or not. You know, I don't think it was deliberate sort of thing. Look, for what I saw, maybe I'm looking at it through Nottingham Forest tinted glasses, but he moved his arm in the way. He moved his arm to control it, and for me, that's a handball, and it shouldn't have been a goal, and it was rightly chalked off. Yeah, you know, you look at the point and you think, it's not ideal, but we didn't lose, and that's the main thing. We're up to 8th now in the league, and that's incredible. I mean, look where we were this time last season. It's not polar opposites, because we would have been in the top 4, you know, top 2 kind of thing if it was polar opposites. But it's a big improvement, a really big improvement, and you know, I'm seeing the City Ground as a fortress game this season, but I could see us not going unbeaten at home. That's ridiculous to say, because obviously we're going to have to welcome the likes of, you know, Liverpool and City and Arsenal and that, and obviously last season we beat Liverpool and Arsenal, but you know, it's not going to be straightforward, and obviously we drew with City, so you know that kind of puts that out the window. But you know what I'm saying, it's not going to be easy, but we could really pick up a lot of points at home, and our away form already this season is better at this point than it was by this point last season, by a long shot. You know, this time last season, I don't think we'd even picked up a point on the road. So to already have had 3 points in the bag against a traditional top 6 team, we can't call them a top 6 team in terms of their league position at the minute, because they're anything but top 6. In Chelsea, you know, to get a win like that, it's really good. So, you know, you look at it, it's a point on the board, another point on the board, another game where we didn't lose, and a game where we had some positives. You know, I'm going to touch on a couple of performances in a moment, because there were some players that really impressed me out there, and some things that I saw which I was really happy with. So, you know, I think in games like this, we need to be dominating. We need to be getting all 3 points. We need to be going through these games without too much of a worry. But I'm sure that will come. You know, Sangare's bedding in a little bit more. Hudson-Odoi will have a bit more time under his belt at the club. Origi, you know, he'll come off the bench or maybe even start and be able to offer a little bit more. So, you know, look, it's still early days and they're still working things out. So you can't be too critical. I think a point in this game is okay. You know, like I say, as long as we didn't lose, which we didn't, and we can move on to Man City at the weekend and see how that one goes. But yeah, there are definite positives I can take. And you look at the point and you could be disappointed. At the end of the game, I was kind of feeling a bit like, yeah, you know, look, I really wanted to win. We didn't lose, so you can't complain too much about it. But yeah, I think you know, like I say, there's some individual performances that I really want to point out, some positives about. But before I do that, I don't like being negative a lot, but there were 2 performances for me today that I wasn't necessarily pleased with, and I'll get that out of the way quickly. I think everyone knows who I'm going to say. The first one was Gonzalo Montiel, and look, I don't know if it's a sign of things to come or if it's just one bad game. You know, Coloosho. Is it Coloosho? I'm not 100% sure on the pronunciation, but he had you know, I don't know if it's just he played really well up against Montiel. You know, his style of play clashed against what Montiel is good at, and it caused that to be a bit of a problem. I don't know. We'll see that more and more as he gets more game time for us. But look, that first half, he wasn't good. He got skinned by Koleosho a good couple of times, and he really struggled to contain him. And then start the second half again, he didn't really look like he'd made any improvements or sort of dealt with him any better. So Aina got put onto that right-hand side and Tabrez got brought on. And then another player, for me, like I say, I don't like to be negative. I don't like picking out players and saying they play poorly. But I think you sometimes have to, and I think everyone again knows who I'm going to say. But it's Scott McKenna for me. And I love Scott McKenna. He'll always have a place in my heart for that season where we got promoted. You know, anyone who featured in that will have a place in my heart, regardless of sort of what they did. But he was excellent in that season, alongside Cook and Worrell. You know, he really did put in a big shift that season and did really, really well for us. But unfortunately, and no, it's not like his fault necessarily, but I just don't think he's Premier League quality. I think if we want to be a team that aims to finish in that mid-table place, maybe even on a good day pushing for the Europa League, he can't really be starting, unfortunately. It hurts me to say that, and it pains me to say it, because he has been really good for the club. He had some really good spells and some really good performances. You know, he has been excellent for us in moments, even in the Prem. And like I say, he was very consistent and a real positive as to how we got promoted in that championship season under Coops. So, you know, I don't want to slate him too much, but I just unfortunately don't quite think he's up to this level. And I think we need, if not the best team in the world. But I'll cover them a little bit more this week as I do my preview. But yeah, I think, you know, man of the match for me, I'd say Ola Aina. I think he was magnificent. I'm becoming a little bit of an Ola Aina enthusiast. I've been really delighted with his performances of late, and I really like him. I love how he can play left and right. He's just such a good player. So he was my man of the match. But overall, look, it wasn't the best performance, but it was one that we can be positive about. You know, I saw someone tweet that Nottingham Forest are nothing without Ryan Yates, and I think they could be right. I think Mangala didn't do badly, but I think, you know, Yates offers something a little bit different, and maybe you could see Yates and Sangare going forward, but who knows? Who knows? Yeah, I'm happy that we didn't lose, but it's a shame we didn't win. I think in a game like that we should be winning, but it's positive steps going forward, and there's a long way to go. And you know, if we can finish where we are now at the end of the season, I'll be absolutely delighted. So yeah, let us know down below your thoughts on the game, who your man of the match was, and all that good stuff. Subscribe if you are new around here. Like this video if you did enjoy. Come on, you.